Sons and daughters of Sparta, stand and fight, for today is the day that you rise to glory. Not tomorrow, not next week, right here, right now, in your house, Texas, your home. Who am I?
I'm Sparta!
Who am I?
I'm Sparta!
Let me hear ya! Who am I?
I'm Sparta!
Oh! Oh! Oh!
So this is the Austin Spartan Sprint 2016. This is my third Spartan race. I've done them all in Texas. I started with the Beast last year in Dallas. I did the Super the day before this one, and then this is the Sprint. I recommend, if you want to do them, if you've never done something like this, that you start with the Sprint. Is the shortest of the three, and build your way up if you want to see if you like it. I did this one by myself. Some people do it as a team, for team building, as part of like an organization. The first obstacle was the 3 walls. You climb the first one, about 6 foot high, I believe, and then you crawl or roll, whichever you prefer, under the next one. And the next one is the one with the holes. I prefer to jump, grab the top, and then both feet first, and then your body through. And there's a lot of running. You don't really have to run the whole way, but if you want to do a better time, then I recommend that you train running, so your cardiovascular endurance is good. A lot of strength obstacles too, so it's a combination of both. That's why they have developed some specific training for Spartan races that you can do. This is a bar that you gotta jump over, similar to a wall, except that you don't have support on the other side. So when you go over, if you go too fast, you could fall. So, as you can see in the Spartan races, you're allowed to get some help. That's why team building comes into play. Unless you're trying to prove yourself, you can do them on your own, but your feet are gonna get wet too. This is one of the first hard ones. There's uneven monkey bars. Some are higher, some are lower, so you got to reach. But once you get your body moving and swinging in the right direction, you just gotta go all the way through. Don't stop in the middle, because you might fall. If you don't complete the obstacle, as any other obstacle, obviously you have to do burpees. And burpees, they're not bad. They just take a lot of your time. There's water stations along the way. I believe there were 3 on the Sprint. Right there was a number that you're supposed to memorize, because they're going to ask you at the end. Corresponds to your bib. And this is like a pyramid wall. Not difficult. And I was kind of tired by the time I got there, so took it easy and slow. Recover your energy. The obstacle is not difficult itself, but if you are afraid of heights, or somebody's afraid of heights, obviously you're looking down the whole way, you might get stuck on the top. But as far as physically, it is not difficult. It's like web straps, and they move a little bit, but they're pretty tight. Of course, there's more running. You gotta be careful when you step on this type of terrain. A lot of rocks, uneven. There's 2 more walls, 6-foot walls. I just continue my momentum. I use it to go over them. Don't slow down at all. It's harder to go over if you stop. Now the trick on the water for me is to go really slow, so you don't get any sand. Walk it. Don't stir the sand in your shoes, otherwise you'll be like these people right here, taking your shoes off and having to get the sand off. And that takes a lot of your time. The barbed wire obstacle starts really low. You have to like crawl really low, belly on the ground, or roll. If you have a backpack, it's better to take it off and drag it. I was dragging mine the day before. This day I didn't have one because it was kind of short. as you go through, the wire gets higher, so you're able to pretty much squat down and just go under it. Not difficult, just kind of long, and you have to wait your turn behind people, and you can't really pass anybody there. And continue to run. This obstacle right here is tricky because it takes a lot of strength in your hands. You can see a lot of people need support. They just can't hold themselves up. Uh, Standing wide is what I recommend. So you spread your legs, balance yourself before you make the next move with your hands. And it's kind of tricky going around the corner. And then the other one, it's kind of like in an L shape, but I mean it's possible. Try to get on the side where there's not too wet. The little pieces of wood that are not too wet or muddy. If they're slippery, it's hard to get a hold of it.
Appreciate it.
When you get to the end, you have to ring that bell. And if you don't go through, you gotta do burpees. But I went through that one. More water. This right here is just a wall you gotta jump and grab onto, and not a difficult obstacle at all either. And just a lot of people maybe are tired by the time they get there, so they have a hard time going over it. But it's not difficult. Continue to go, and a lot of people stay in groups. A lot of people pretty much just walk it the whole way. The important thing is to get out there and do one. Make sure your shoes also have good grip because there is a lot of mud. Trail shoes is what I recommend. Now this obstacle right here is this spear throwing. You have to pull it from the rope and then you grab it. Make sure the rope doesn't get tangled up. You're supposed to stick it on the hay. I guess some people aim for the red head, but even if you hit the hay, sometimes, like in my case, it didn't stick. So you gotta do burpees and continue on. This right here is 125 pounds, I believe it said it was. Two sandbags on a metal plate that you have to drag from the rope. A lot of strength. You gotta lean back. A lot of people sit down. And then once you get all the way to you gotta drag it all the way back from the chain. Now the women's, I think, are red bags and they're lighter. The same thing with the tires and a lot of the obstacles that have weights. So this one right here, right? There's a huge line to go to the small hole, but if you do burpees, you can go through the big hole and get right through it. So 15 burpees, and you can pretty much go through the one that you crawl. The day before, I used the small hole, and I took a long time because the people are barely crawling in underneath, and it's a lot longer than this one. So better to do the burpees and go through. More running. Four-wheelers, the medical personnel are there. And you continue to go until you get to the next obstacle. The next one is the vertical wall with the webbing straps, but it's a little more challenging than the first one that was a pyramid because it's straight up. So you're kind of leaning back. Once again, unless you're afraid of heights, really, it's not a difficult obstacle. It takes a little time, but it's not difficult at all. Once you get done on this one, you just continue to go to the tires, which are right there. Different weights, different sizes. Men and women are different. You just roll it 3 times that way and 3 times back. Now on the I used one of the bigger tires to train, like that one right there on the right, but this one was a lot lighter, so a lot easier. Get going until you get to. I believe this is the one of the most difficult obstacles for me. You grab onto the bar, which moves and it goes up, and then you got one to the rings, and after the rings is a baseball on the end of a rope, and then a rope with a knot, three more rings. It's all about strength and technique. Use your body motion to swing back and forth and go to the next obstacle without stopping. But most people require help in that one. A lot of rocks. I slowed it down a little bit here, but it's four water crossings. Really, really dirty water, muddy. It's like red clay, sticks everywhere. Your clothes will be nasty. And I believe this is the inclined wall, so it's leaning towards you, but not that difficult. I use both hand grab, pull myself up. The last water station and over the bridge. And this line right here is where the lady and the guy are asking you for your number. If you don't memorize it, you get to the right. You can recite the word and the number that was on that wall. You had to do burpees, so it's good to memorize it. And this right here is the sand bucket, gravel bucket. And the black buckets are for men, the red ones for women. And you gotta grab it, and you cannot put it over your shoulder. You gotta pretty much squeeze it against your belly or your chest, and walk it all the way up and down. I tried doing it, and I did it without stopping, but nothing wrong with stopping, setting it down. Some people sit on it. The important thing is not to drop any of the gravel, because you gotta go back and redo it if you drop it all. It's supposed to be to those dots right there. Mine is a little low, but interlocking your fingers is the best way. So make sure your hands are dry by the time you get there, so they're not slipping, and you just squeeze it against your chest and go. And then you empty it. A lot of people wait for you to empty so you can fill their bucket. Drop it and go to the next obstacle. Getting towards the end now. Go over the foam pole, and then this obstacle right here, I just run as fast as I can. Use my momentum to grab the rope and go over. It's real quick. Some people have a hard time pulling themselves out, but if you build momentum, and once you get to the middle of the rope, it's no big deal. And one of my favorites, rope climbing. It's skinnier than the ropes they have at the gym for like workouts. But use your legs, practice somewhere. A lot of people can't do it. They just go do the burpees. You gotta get it all the way to the top and ring the bell. Ring the bell and then bring yourself back down. It's all strength too. It's very, very hard for people to do it, especially towards the end of if you've been doing all that. This right here is just a climb, go over the bridge. This is the actual entrance to the Spartan Race. And another one that is, I believe, 120, 110 pounds. I'm not sure how heavy that bag is. But you have to pull the rope, all the way until the very top, and slowly bring it down. You can't drop it, or you have to do burpees. Most people require help. I use my body to lean back. So I was standing up, grabbing up, and leaning back. and you bring it down really slowly. Use my feet against defense for leverage too. There you go. Last heavy obstacle or difficult obstacle after that, you just go through this, go to towards like your chest, a lot of nasty water. And my favorite one, yep, there you go, under the wall. It looks like I went underwater early, but I mean the wall is just barely up above the surface or below the surface. It's just my camera was on my chest. But make sure you bring something to change into, because you'll be nasty, and there are hoses that you can water yourself off with, and bring some soap and change your clothes and a towel, and you'll be good to go. But it's not difficult, you can do it. Last obstacle will be that firewall.